Ooh. Okay. We may or may not be live. It's been a fun time of it tonight. Okay, let's see. We'll find out if we are actually live. Okay, it looks like we are rolling again. And if we go down and freeze a third time, it may just be time to call it. But we're back. Welcome back, Luke. Shout out Luke and everyone else for sticking with it through thick and thin, because it's been a little roller coaster. Yeah, I don't even know what happened that time because my phone had Wi-Fi the whole time and it just froze. So fun stuff. But we're back. We'll see. Hey, Brent's back. Thanks for jumping back on. It's been a little rough tonight. Definitely not consistent with the Wi-Fi. Unfortunate, but whatever. We're back. We're rolling for a little while longer, and it may be that when the stream just shuts off for the third time, I just go to bed. We'll have to find out. Uh, who knows? But yeah, we were rolling too. It's just kind of annoying to have to like cut it and restart it. Um, just obnoxious. Anyway, Brent, are you prepared for Bradford? How much have you played Bradford lately? Do you get out there very often? Yeah, Luke, we still got to hit the 3 hour mark. Yeah, it's gonna be like an hour, like 45 minutes, and or no, I'm getting it wrong. Like an hour and a half, like 45 minutes, and like 50 minutes that we're gonna try to cut together to get to the 3 hour mark. Oh, you've played Bradford quite a bit. Yeah, I've played it once, so I'd like to get out there one more time if I can, which I should be able to because we got 3 weeks or 2 weeks, sorry, until March. So I should be able to get out there and hopefully I can film because there's some pretty cool shots at Bradford that I'd like to get on camera. And I just got a couple of them caught briefly, like the downhill ace run, I think 16. Jake and I threw a couple of extra shots, but it's a nice course. I'd like to get some shots filmed out there. I'd like to ace that tunnel shot, like hole 13 or 12 or whatever in the middle of the course. Yeah, I want that ace. Yes, commitment. We are committed. That wow, you guys are great. I mean, we already have most of us back. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Even Aiden going off in the chat. Uh, Brent, you hit the basket on 14 shorts and 16 for the championship. Ooh, doggone. Yikes. Uh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hopefully you can hopefully you can get that ace soon. Especially in tournament. That'd be nice. All I've seen from Brent so far is an ace in my face when we were tied playing just 8 holes because he was on his lunch break at Scrapyard. And out of order, he steps up and just chucks his disc off the tee of hole 8 across the water, straight into the chains, aced it right in my face. And I needed to ace to tie him on the last hole. And so he just basically had a walk-off ace and then went back to work. It was very rude, honestly. It was very inconsiderate. Yeah. Oh no, are we already frozen? Hopefully not. Okay. It was buffering for a second and I was like, oh no, not again. Alice, have you ever played in another country? I have not played in another country because I have not traveled to another country. I had plans to go to Iceland, and I was very excited to play disc golf in Iceland because it's beautiful and awesome, and it was going to be really, really cool. Those plans have basically fallen through, but so I better listen to that. Yeah. All right. Do we freeze again, or are we good? I'm just gonna be like wondering the whole like rest of the stream. Did we freeze? Did we freeze? Okay, it looks like we're good. It's just buffering. Yeah, I'm gonna say that every time. Be like, oh no, did we freeze? Yeah, so I think there's anything that I'm gonna be participating in. So I've got 2 weeks until the next tournament, which I think is the biggest break between tournaments that I'll have had since Christmas. Yeah, so I'm good with that. A little rest. A little rest. Ellis, I want to play at some of the top European courses like Krokle. Yeah, that's top tier course. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you also let me know when you get some traveling in because that's really awesome. It would be pretty sweet to travel to some of the best European courses, like the Nokia Open course. It's pretty sweet. And then where do they play? Um, the European, what do they call it? The European Championships or whatever they played last year with that one hill with the basket like on the top of the hill that looks ridiculously hard to birdie. And if you miss your putt, you're going like 40 feet back down the hill on the other side. That course looked pretty sweet as well. The European Open, maybe? I can't remember. But yeah, there's a lot of super cool European courses that'd be totally worth checking out for sure. For sure. Yeah. So that one was Krokle. Okay. And then what's the one in Norway that I'm thinking of that has like the wooden triple Mando? Actually, I think there's two in Norway that I'm thinking of. Oh well, I don't know enough of them and what they're named, but yeah, Krokle would be a massive one, and that's one where like Maple Hill, you basically just expect to have a bad time, but enjoy it. Johnny, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. We're just chatting a little bit about disc golf, hanging out, having a good time, relaxing together, and the stream died twice. So hopefully this is the third time's the charm. But if it dies again, we might just be going to bed. Yeah, might just have to accept our fate. But glad you're here with us. Glad you joined us, and we're just chilling, just hanging out. About what? Disc golf. We're talking about disc golf. So basically, these are discs, and they all fly a little bit differently, and they're shaped to, go pretty far. And if you're good at throwing discs, then you can throw 400, 500 feet with a disc. I'm just under that 400 mark for how far I can usually throw. But yeah, we're hanging out, chilling, talking about disc golf. Have you ever played? Yes, disc golf. I'm guessing that you haven't played disc golf. It's fun. Ellis. Oh no, the European Open was the monster. The Krokle course was a separate tournament. Okay. That makes me feel slightly better that I didn't know or that I wasn't wrong about the European Open course being called Krokle. But still, the monster. Yeah. Huge course. Thank you. What is your favorite time of day to play, and what is the longest you're willing to drive to play a casual round of disc golf? Great question. So I would say favorite time of day to play depends on what state I'm in and what temperature it is. So Florida, I liked playing around 11 because the dew had all evaporated from the ground, but it wasn't 100 degrees yet. But I would play until 4 p.m. in Florida in real feel 115 degrees several times. So I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to push through, but I would say the ideal is probably more like a North Carolina summer where it gets to be like 70 to 95, but probably not pushing over 100 as much or as consistently as Florida and not as humid when it does it. And then probably like 2 p.m. is my favorite time to play. I feel nice and awake. Yeah, Johnny, you should think about maybe giving it a try. It's a fun sport. Oh, but you're in Scotland. I don't even know how big Scotland is with disc golf. There might not be much disc golf in Scotland. I have no idea. No clue. The Europe has quite a bit of disc golf interest, but I don't know if that extends directly to Scotland or not. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Glad that you joined the stream. And Scottish invented golf. Well, the golf elements of golf are excellent as a categorical sport participation goes, and I just like throwing a disc instead of swinging a club a little bit more. I enjoy watching the disc kind of fly through the air with different shot shapes, and played a little golf when I was a teenager and was not great at it. So that's my experience with golf. I think that it's a great sport, and it's one that I don't have as much experience or interest in, but other people do, and other people don't care at all about disc golf, and that's life. I would say though that disc golf is a fun sport to jump into and just give it a try, because as opposed to something like golf, where it's expensive to rent or buy equipment to be able to play a full 18 holes, you can go to a local store, a supermarket, and get a players or not a players pack, a starter pack of discs, and you get like 3 discs for 25 or $30, and play a free, park course. I can't guarantee that you have anything nearby you in Scotland, of course. I'm not claiming to know anything about your country, but as far as expense, it's one of the cheapest sports to just try out. Even soccer, a good soccer ball is $30, and you need a team to actually play soccer. But disc golf, you can play by yourself, for 25 bucks. And if you know a friend who plays, even better, you can borrow some discs and play for free. Uh, there are courses in Scotland, such as the Bluebell Woods in Dubar. Oh, good research, Ellis. Thanks for coming in clutch. That's awesome. Oh gosh. Johnny, you got a mean throw. Good. Hopefully that translates to disc golf. Disc golf is interesting because strength is helpful and important, but form is where distance comes from, and grip. So if you have a bad grip and you're very strong, doesn't matter, the disc isn't going anywhere. But if you have really good grip and good form, then you can absolutely launch a disc and get good spin out of it. But someone with good form, I mean, there are shrimpy teenagers, like 14-year-olds who have yet to hit puberty, that can almost throw as far as me because their form is really, really good. And once they like get taller and get some muscles, they'll throw 200 feet past me. If you could have any disc sponsor and bag sponsor, who would you go with? Great question. I like having the open bag, um, but I lean a little bit right now towards the Latitude 64. I really, really like the Royal Grand plastic, and so I throw the Brave. Um, I don't have a lot of other Latitude discs in the bag right now, but I love the plastic so much that I really think I could kind of sub in discs to kind of fit my slots of what I want in the bag. And a lot of them get it in the Royal Grand plastic. I also love the Opto plastic as well. Feels pretty good. So I would say that Latitude would be where I would gravitate. Maybe Discmania. I feel like their Esplin plastic is also really good. Maybe Streamline. I really like the Cosmic Neutron. So kind of tough choices, but yeah, I would say Latitude is really up there. Yeah. What caliber would you take Bigfoot hunting? I would go with a bow, and I would not be able to take Bigfoot down. Yeah, but I would go with a bow. I would go with my compound bow that I have, and I have carbon fiber arrows with broadheads, and I would just kind of aim for center mass. He's pretty big. A lot of hair though. Name Thank Glory says, "Seek Jesus," and as a lot of you know, I'm open about it. I'm a Christian, and appreciate the encouragement, and will do. Okay. All right, we're getting a little bit of we're getting a little bit of alliteration in the chat here. So we got rugby, soccer. So I played 15 years of soccer, mostly like elementary to college, and I didn't play at a high level in college, just kind of a middle level, and I mostly sat the bench. But I did get a scholarship, so I had a couple thousand a year to show up to practice and stay fit. Worked out for me. I was pretty happy with that. Never played rugby though, so no real experience with rugby. Looter McGavin, that's really good. Discs rely on wind, the balls spin with circumference. Yeah, there's certainly less in golf. There's less effect from the wind. The discs don't rely on it per se, but they're very affected by it. So if you have a steady wind, you're going to have to change your disc selection and throw something more overstable to get through the wind. Only in extreme circumstances will the wind actually like stop your disc from flying and like knock you down. That's pretty rare. Normally, it'll just affect how far you drift from your aim point. So you have to estimate the wind and compensate for it. And so, yeah, it creates a greater challenge. But unlike some golf, with wind, we don't change tees at all. We stick with the same tees. So that's a big factor with this golf as well. The same course can play way differently from one day to the next because the wind could make everyone play 5 strokes worse on average, and there's no like moving up in tees to compensate for that. Vince says you come from evil ancestors. I think we all do, Vince. I hate to break it to you, but I don't know who your ancestors are, but guarantee you had a bunch of rude son of a guns. Yeah. Luke says chill. Burrito Bandit, love that name. Absolutely love that name, says for real. Yeah. My gaming profile is Space Burrito. Yeah. And I have like a little astronaut person. Yeah. Rugby versus real soccer. Rugby is real soccer. I'm guessing that's supposed to say is, not us. Rugby is real soccer. I don't really know what that means because it's just a different sport. But okay. Cool. How many aces do you have? 29. But a bunch of them are like me staying on the tee pad and throwing a bunch of times. I have 5 legitimate first throw aces, ranging from 200 and let's see, what was that one? Like 180 to like 260 feet. And one of them I won money for because it was in a organized match play event. And I got it with a Buzz SS. Let's see, do I have my Buzz SS right here? Ugh. So I used this Buzz SS to get that ace, and I think it's about 240 feet, but the part of the basket was like down the hill to the left and a little bit blind. So I actually saw the chains move, but I didn't see if my disc was in the basket or not. And I had to like walk up halfway up the fairway to find out that I did hit the ace. And I got like $80 for it, so that was pretty cool. All right. Rugby is NFL without any protection. Yeah. I mean, all I watched, I don't really watch sports. I like to play sports, but I don't really watch. But I did watch Invictus. So that's essentially my entire understanding of rugby is from Matt Damon with an accent. So yeah, that's all I got. Quaver, is it all solo content or do you also include collabs? Would love to delete your comment because that is absolutely disgusting. Goodbye. Rugby is off-brand football. JK. Off-brand football. Johnny says, oof, Luke, we invented your football. Josh had the same situation, but got to basket and disc was on the ground. Yeah, that always hurts. Yeah. Yeah, you think you got the ace, you see or hear the chains, and you're like, I aced it. You walk up and on the ground. It's brutal. And actually, on the same hole that I aced with my Buzz, I thought I aced on my birthday, and we walked up and it was on the ground. Same basket, um, but I didn't get the ace on my birthday. So sad. Yep. It's painful. It's painful. Yeah, yep. Yep. Back to disc golf. Yep. Back to disc golf. So, what do you guys say is your favorite disc? I've had you guys ask me a lot about my favorite disc, and I usually say the Brave because it's fantastic. I talk about the Soul and the Echo a lot as my favorite mid ranges, but I'm curious now, what are your favorite discs? Yeah, Josh, it's always rough to go up thinking that you have an ace and just feel that pain. It's almost better to just park it for birdie because then you're excited to get the birdie. But when you like think you ace and you don't, it's a letdown. Even though it's cooler, it just hurts more somehow. That disappointment. So you say the nuke, nice. So how far are you throwing the nuke? Because that is it's a beefier distance driver for a lot of amateurs. So for me, I don't bag a nuke, but I do bag like a hurricane, which I think is similar in the kind of tending toward overstability. And but it's not my furthest flying disc. But yeah, how far do you throw the nuke? Ezra 8 hold distance. Luke, the rim is too big for my little hands. Yeah, the nuke is a beefy guy, big boy. Goes far, but you have to be able to crank on it or throw an anhyzer. That'll work too. Yep. I do have a Nuke SS that's supposed to be pretty good. It's not that flippy. Oh, I was looking for that earlier. Yeah. I do have a Nuke SS. He's pretty beat up, but it's not very flippy. So I really kind of expected it to be like a turnover disc, and it's really not. I think it flies like um, a nuke would for someone who can throw over 400 feet. Except I don't throw it that far, but it is a little bit less like massively, overstable. But I like the grip on it. It's a good disc. My distance driver tends to be the Enigma. So a 12 speed, 5 -1 2. This one's a little more beat in, so it turns more. I also tend to throw with a little bit of hyzer, so that can impact my distance as well. Because when I'm throwing with hyzer, I kind of need something to be a little bit flippier and kind of pop up and get that full flight. Versus throwing dead flat, you can be a little bit more stable. Or if you're throwing an anhyzer, you can throw those overstable discs and just kind of swing it out and get the sweeping flights with them. Yeah. Also, Josh, how many aces do you have? So I was some of you probably saw my Valentine's Day short where I missed a putt and made it into like a Valentine. But my favorite disc golf Valentine that I saw was with a picture of Ezra Robinson, and it said, "If you were a disc, I'd bag you." I thought that was pretty funny. But I try to make my own. It was less funny, but I tried. Luke, what is your favorite video that you've shot? One of my favorite videos was definitely the April Fool's round because I got to watch Luke and Devin essentially act like fools for 2 hours. And then at the end, it ended up being close. So it wasn't like an unfair, thing where somebody just got destroyed. But we all had to wrestle with the different challenges and struggle with it to kind of try to put together a good round on the course. But I would have to say that definitely my favorite rounds that I got filmed were my 3 Chainhawk Open rounds because it was the first time I was able to have an A tier, a high tier tournament filmed for me. And I ended up winning the tournament. And it was just a really enjoyable, peaceful experience. It was a really great moment where I was kind of able to be grateful to God for what He's blessed me with and enjoy ending up winning in a big field at a high level event, and got it all filmed for me and was able to put it on the YouTube channel. So I would say that Chain Hawk Open weekend was my favorite memory of getting something on camera, where now I have it for the rest of my life. I have that record. Yeah. I also had a good time. Oh, I can't say that because it's not out yet. Had a good time filming an ace race challenge with a buddy, Dakota, where if basically we had like 30 throws to hit metal, or not to hit metal. We had 30 throws, and then if we hit metal, we like earned a couple of throws back and got some points. So every time we hit metal, we would get points for it and then get extra throws added on. Then we instituted a longest putt, where out of all of your ace runs that you threw, if you made the putt from the furthest one away, then you got points and some throws back as well. And so we ended up going through like 8 holes at Northside Park trying to ace, and ended up hitting metal a couple times each. And I won't tell you who won, but we had a really good time with that. That was a fun day. Fun day. Marion says, you get much sun? I got a lot of sun in Florida, but I moved to North Carolina, Charlotte, and not so much sun at the moment. It's been gray skies for the most part for the last 2 months. But yeah, Florida, I was definitely out in the sun basically every day playing disc golf. But doesn't take long for this to lose tan. Josh, 4 aces, 2 of them in 1 round. That is awesome. That's pretty awesome. I've gotten 2 aces in like, not in a round, but in like an ace run session where I'm running the ace over and over again. But 2 in a round, that's fantastic, dude. That's awesome. Good for you. That's great. And we're not talking politics here. We're just chilling, hanging out, having a good time. And so if you have anything to chat about disc golf or life in general, that's cool. We'll talk about it, but we're not interested in politics at all. Luke, good question. Dakota or Blaze, who is more fun? Oh, that's good. So I have several videos on my channel with Dakota and with Blaze, and different competitions that we did with each other. I would say Dakota is my favorite because I beat him every time. And that's not a spoiler because I might be exaggerating, but Blaze scares me because I know he can beat me at any time if he's putting well. But Dakota, I have a lot of confidence going head to head with Dakota because I just think that I'll win. So I like winning. I like beating Dakota. Yeah, good question. Yeah, if Blaze could putt, he would win. Yeah, it depends on the course, obviously. If we're out on a bomber course, then he probably doesn't even need a putt to beat me. But if we're playing in Charlotte, I'm probably beating Blaze every time, even if he's putting really well, just because he has distance, but control is so essential. But at Northside and Jonesville in Florida, you don't need as much of that control, particularly Northside. Blaze can go like 12 down from the longs. And I think my best is 9 down, maybe 10 down. So it's like, it takes everything within me to get close to that, because he can just rip his bombs out there with no problem, get some eagle putts, and it's just not, I don't quite have that distance. He throws far. Yeah, but I would say that I tend to throw with more control for the most part than he does. Yeah. Yep. But he's pretty good. He is pretty good. So are any of you guys trying to go to a pro tour event this year? Last year I was able to attend 2 events. I was able to go to chess.com in Florida, the kickoff to the year, and that was a really, really cool experience. Not only, well, the course was a little bit in rough shape, but it's an incredible course, and it was a really great just experience to follow Calvin around everywhere and a couple of different cards. and watching people battle through the woods and up and down the massive hills. And then switching over to USDGC, it was basically no elevation change for the most part. I guess there's a couple of elevation change, but nothing like the verticality of the Olympus course. And I was able to watch some bombs out there for people just ripping. Gannon, Calvin throwing absolute missiles out on flat ground, trying to get eagles. Calvin put together a really impressive start to his final round and actually started to make a push toward the potential win. But Gannon just put together an incredible back nine and ended up taking it down. But it was really cool to watch. In person, it's insane to watch the pros because they're so clearly next level. It's so impressive. Great Lakes Open, yeah, that's perfect, Luke, to hit Great Lakes Open. That's a good one for spectating, and that one's got a lot of elevation change as well. So lots of down the toboggan slope, up a toboggan slope, like just it's going to be really cool to see the power on those guys, just absolutely launching missiles all over the course. So that's a really good one to watch. I wish that I could watch Great Lakes Open in person. So I'll have to actually look. Oh, it's probably going to be like, I think it's after U.S. Amateurs. So it's probably going to be like August. So I probably can't watch. I probably can't get up to Michigan for that. Too bad. I'll definitely be watching like Pro Tour Series Championship and USDGC because they're both pretty local to Charlotte. And I'd like to hit another Pro Tour event if I can, but I'm not sure. Favorite pro to watch, and which one do you compare yourself to the most? Ooh, like putting style and throwing style. Really good question, and I don't think that's a question I've gotten so far. So, favorite to watch, I love watching Calvin in skins matches because he's hilarious. He is just so sarcastic and funny, and he's so talented. So he's taking everyone's money and he's making fun of them while he does it. Um, Kevin Jones is also really great in skins matches. He's really, really funny, and he'll hit a putt and do a backflip off of a rock and like almost die, and he's just having a blast. In competition, all right, we do have a Ricky fan. Um, Ricky is fun to watch, and I would probably say top five. His putting is insane. Isaac Robinson is a lot of fun to watch, partially because he makes the backhand work so well for so many shot shapes, and then will occasionally pull out the forehand when he needs to, but he doesn't have like the Ricky forehand, and he's still able to win Worlds twice. So Isaac way up there, Calvin way up there. He just throws so far, and you never know when he's just going to throw in for eagle from 380 feet. He'll just do it because he feels like it. So let's see. Yeah, that's a couple of decent answers. Calvin, Isaac, Garrett Gurthey's fun to watch throw. Just throws absolute bombs. Anthony Burrell is fun to watch. I'm looking forward to Ezra Robinson this year on coverage. He made chase card a lot last year, but he didn't really make a lead card all that often. And I'd like to see him on lead card a few times and take down a win. Yeah. Which one do I compare myself to, like putting style and throwing style? So probably a year and a half ago, I would have said Greg Barsby would be the one I putt like the most because Greg Barsby had a very like vertical nose down putt that dropped in, and I tend to have that nose down and drop in, but I don't put it nearly as high as I used to. I used to put it like almost into the band, and it would just drop into the chains under the band. But it was really bad for the wind, so I stopped putting like that. But I would have said Greg Barsby. I would say I'm similar to Calvin in that I don't have the traditional spin putt from the hip. I kind of come closer to my right knee and then putt forward with that push putting style. And also my miss is low. Like Calvin has struggled in the last couple of seasons. When he misses putts, he usually hits the cage. And I tend to do that as well. So there's probably that similarity there. Um, yeah. Throwing style, probably Kevin Jones. Kevin Jones is the pro that I see throwing flippy discs on hyzer, and that tends to be how I throw for distance. Is I throw understable discs with a little bit of hyzer and flip them up. I love throwing the sole and shot shaping. So I would say that Kevin is probably similar in his backhand style, throwing more of those understable flip up shots. Yeah, that's probably where my similarity in throwing style is. Also, like Garrett and Isaac, in that my forehand sucks. Todd says Ricky is the right answer. Ricky, 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 Ricky Wysocki. Love that song. 100% Ricky and the Robinson Bros. Uh, yeah, somebody likes Ricky. I get it. Ricky is really good. It's fun to root against Ricky, not because I want him to lose, but I like seeing other people like take down the win with Ricky in the field, because he's just a powerhouse. So yeah, he's a significant force, and he's going to win again this year several times. Gannon's going to win a lot. Gannon's going to win a lot. Brent says his favorite pro to watch is Jake Hendrick. Not yesterday. Chase, what's up? Hey, thanks for joining. We had a couple of technical difficulties tonight. We had the stream crash twice, and if it happens the third time, I'm probably just going to bed. But we're here, we're rolling, we're having a good time, we're chatting, and I'm glad that you're able to join us for part of it. How are you doing today? Todd says Ezra was having a little trouble figuring out his Discraft bag so far. Ricky just shot like a 1092 round with his Discraft bag. And Brent says Ricky followed that up with a 1098. Yeah. Yeah. Ricky's a monster. I think that he is a little bit mildly like streaky. He'll have his rough tournaments, but he's going to be in competition a lot this year. Like last year, he'll just put himself in position to potentially, put together a crazy final round and potentially win. Ezra's probably not going to be as consistent, but I think that Ezra's going to win this year, and he'll get the bag completely figured out, and he'll have some great tournaments this year. So I think he's going to take a win. But yeah, Ricky is just crazy, crazy good. Luke, when did you start disc golfing? That's a great question. So I've played for just over 3. Yeah, Brent. Luke has a list of questions he has pulled out today. Hey, I am happy for it. I'm here for it. Gives me something to talk about. And I have a list of conversation topics too, but we've mostly talked through the majority of them. And I've just got a couple left. But Luke is supplying me with the questions to make sure that we are on track and staying disc golf focused. So I'm happy. I'm happy with it. So I started just over 3 years ago, 3 years and a couple months. But the first time I played, I was like 13, maybe. I played a disc golf course with an ultimate frisbee, and I was pretty good with a frisbee for my age, and had a great time. But when I, in college, tried to play on a disc golf course with discs, I hated it. I couldn't throw discs. My sidewinder was overstable for me, just hyzering out, because I was grabbing my disc like a frisbee with my finger on the outside. So I would throw, and I'd be like, and I'd rip on it. I'd be like, that's a bomb. It's going forever. And it would go like 80 feet and hyzer out. So I sucked at disc golf until my brother taught me how to fan grip and actually get a finger underneath the rim so that you're able to grip the disc and have it snap and spin out of your hand. And when I learned that and I saw a disc go straight and turn a little bit, I was hooked. As soon as I saw that little S curve, I was like, oh, I like this. That was in the summer of, gosh, get my years right, 2021. And I played like once, and I didn't play for months until we were moved down to Florida. And around November, I started playing like every day. And I started figuring out, what does this disc do? What does this disc do? Oh, this is a diamond and it goes to the right. Oh, my sidewinder goes a little right, but it comes back. Oh, this one goes really hard to the left. It's an Invictus. And so I started figuring out all of those things and figuring out my putt, started playing in tournaments, and the rest is history. So just over 3 years for like actually playing, but I tried it out a couple years or months before that, and then a few years before that, I played, but didn't really play. Chase, yeah, I saw that in the title. It happens, but hey, not close, not close to you, but I'm in Florida, just vacation. Heck yeah, dude. I'm glad you're out there in Florida. Are you bowling at all on your vacation, or are you just chilling? That's awesome though. Florida's great, and this is a great time of year to be there. There's probably a potential for cold fronts and rainy stuff blowing through the state, but it's probably pretty nice out. Is it like 65? Todd says, that's so true. It's seeing that S curve that hooks you. Yeah, absolutely. When you see it sweep through the air and then come back and you're like, that went so far, that absolutely grabs you. That flight shape has really stuck with me too in throwing stuff that's a little more understable so that I get that drift to it and that swing through the air. And I haven't really been as much interested in throwing like stable stuff dead straight, although I like mid ranges for the drivers. I like to see those distant shots swing out for sure. For sure. Luke, ready with question number 17, says best win in your mind. That's a really good question. Let me think about that for a second. So I think there's a couple ways to think about that because my best win is my Chainhawk Open MA1 A tier. It's the highest level win with a sizable field. My MPO win was just 7 people. My MA1 win was like 44 people. So big deal for me for taking that win down. But one of my big wins was MA3 in the Chainhawk Open 2 years before. So just over 2 years ago. And I was leading going into the final round of the tournament because I had 2 solid first rounds. But I started having a rough round 3. And I threw out of bounds on hole 5. And the guy that was chasing me hit cage off the tee twice for tapping birdies. So he was just on, and I was just a little bit off. And so coming down the stretch, I gave up the lead with just 4 holes left. And we got to the last few holes, and we got to hole 17. I put it to about 30 feet, and he put it to about 35 feet. He was beating me by 2 with 2 holes to go, and he laid it up. So when he did that, I said, okay, I can win this tournament. So I cashed the putt, moved on to the next hole, went first, parked it, hole 18. He messed up. He hit a tree. He messed up his upshot. He hit the cage for the putt. And I hit my 18-footer, 12-footer for the win in MA3. And that was like fireworks. Like that was so cool. I flipped the score on the last hole from 1 down to 1 up or whatever, from back 1 to winning by 1, and took down the solo win. And so that was a big win for me. And that was a huge momentum. And I immediately switched from MA3 to MA2 and started learning the X step and learned how to throw further and shifted up toward MA1. So that was a big tournament for me moving forward in my like disc golf trajectory. Yeah, great question. All right, I'm jumping down. Brent, have a good rest of the live stream. Hopping off. Thanks for stopping in, Brent. Really appreciate you. And catch you at Bradford. Chase, not a chance, just chilling. Nice. And don't have your bowling balls. I imagine I would not borrow a set of discs and be like, I'm going to go hit the course. Drive me nuts unless it was for a video. So I would not think you would want to go like pick up just a random bowling ball from the bowling alley and start playing. That'd probably be terrible. Fort Lauderdale, since that's where I grew up, then 85 every day. I wish I had 85. I love the heat. I don't like 110, but like give me 85 degrees every day. Yes, please. Thank you. I would love it. That's That's 365 days of disc golf. Thank you very much. Uh, it's yeah, I absolutely am jealous. It's not horrible here, but today was actually fine. It was just really windy. But yesterday was absolutely miserable. I played a tournament at Nevin, which is where the Pro Tour Championship was played. It had been raining all week leading up to it. It was super, super muddy. And, the disc it was raining on and off during our tournament and 38 degrees and a little windy too. So it was so cold. We were wet. We were miserable. When I had a good shot off the tee, I would try to run up and slip in the mud when I went to throw. Just a miserable experience. Just no fun at all. And I clawed my way up to playing my rating basically. So it wasn't a horrible day, but it was not a fun day. Yeah. So 85 degrees, yes, please. Todd, that's a better storyline than 95% of Hollywood. So true. So true. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was definitely it was a moment where I really understood that I was blessed with the opportunity because I realized I already know this, of course, but partway through that round, I saw the limits of my own humanity and knew that it's possible that I win this, but it's a gift from God if I do. And I really saw it that way. I really saw it as a blessing, something that He gave to me as a gift, and I'm very grateful for it. But I can't take credit for it in the sense of thinking that I'm so great because I made that happen by myself. Definitely something where I rely on God for His strength and felt like He really really kind of gave me that blessing. Hollywood can't write that. Yeah, disc golf is exciting when you love it. Yeah, absolutely. And just to there have been good disc golfers who aren't very passionate about disc golf. They're just really good at it. And it's great to see their skill and everything. But there are a lot of decent disc golfers who are really passionate about the sport and just love it. And that's more fun. It's more fun to watch them succeed and to hang out with them and play around with them because they just want to know what you're throwing and they're interested in how it flew. They're excited when you hit metal off the tee or hit a long birdie putt. And it's just a joy because there's that shared love of the sport and that passion. That passion makes the difference for sure. Yeah, Luke agrees. Yep. Chase, yeah, brutal. That sounds like a mess. Yeah, it was gross. Very, very, very windy past few days here as well. Yeah, I bet. I'm guessing. Oh no, you said Fort Lauderdale. So right. Oh yeah. So is that east or west coast? I don't remember. I only lived in Florida for 3 years, so I don't know where anything is. Craig says rectangle, 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 rectangle. Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah. We are getting close to me getting tired out, but not quite. Not quite. We're getting close, but we're gonna push on. I'm waiting for Ramsey to get to his dorm and hop on because he hasn't said that he's made it yet. Hopefully soon. Luke, sometimes it's just peaceful to play, unless it's for Taco Bell. Spoken like someone who owes me Taco Bell. Yeah, sometimes it's just really nice. And that I have that experience now too, although it's a little bit different because I'm practicing for tournaments, I'm filming for stuff. I don't get as many peaceful rounds in necessarily because there's a lot of purpose to kind of every round that I'm playing. But early on, there was an additional piece where I would just go out. I would only have a few discs, and I would just play a round of disc golf. And really, it didn't matter what my score was. It was just nice to be out on the course, and it was nice to hit long, maybe one or two long putts, a couple of good throws, and be like, yeah, I'm starting to learn this sport called disc golf, and I like it. I still have those experiences, but they're a little bit hit and miss now because, if I'm having a bad round coming up to a tournament, it's significant. I feel like I need to figure out a tee shot and know what disc I'm throwing before I get to competition. Still great, still an awesome sport, still peaceful, but there's a shift in it sometimes when you're pushing competitively, for sure. But still a fantastic sport and something I wouldn't trade. Like it'd be tough to give up disc golf. It really, really would. It would. Uh, all right. So I'll jump ahead to Luke's because it's a direct question from my comment. Do you get to play around for practice and not for shooting videos and whatnot? So normally what I'll do is if it's a practice round for a tournament, I'm usually not filming. If I'm playing with my brother, I'm not filming. So the only filming I'm doing in Charlotte right now is for a video or for like shorts, where I'm just like playing a course and just kind of filming, hopefully getting birdies of the day. So when I am getting in like a practice round, usually the camera's off, and usually it's a little more like uh, time focused and strategy focused, where I'm figuring out what disc am I throwing on this tee shot? What disc am I throwing on this tee shot? Where do I just not want to end up on the putting green because it's super obstructed and it's just a terrible putt, or it's uphill instead of downhill, or it's super muddy, or whatever. So I tend not to film those kind of more focused strategy sessions. Um, yeah, I tend to kind of film either casual or a specific planned video. Um, that's kind of how my filming is right now. In Florida, I was able to do a little bit more like practice and film at the same time because um, I wasn't relying on other people's schedules at all when I was playing, and Devin didn't uh, have enough sway to stop me from taking extra shots on camera, um, which has worked for me. But yeah, that's how I tend to do things right now, and yeah, I think it's a decent balance. I think I could get a little more filming in would be nice because there are a lot of courses I haven't filmed yet at all in Charlotte, and a lot of iconic holes that I've only pulled out of the camera for like one throw, that I'm looking forward to getting more throws with. Okay, Chase. Yeah, so Fort Lauderdale is just a bit north of Miami, East Coast. Okay, nice, nice. Yep. I mean, I should have known that, but I didn't. Todd, Craig's comment is an obscene picture. It's just not loading. Oh, great. Thank you for letting me know, and I should have known. But, of course, the live stream isn't working perfectly today. Of course. All right, we are pushing it, but I'm going to hang on for a few more minutes, especially since our streams got cut into chunks and I lost some of that time. But we are starting to get a little bit tired. All right. I got a question for you guys. What if I launch Birdietime Gaming and I stream and play video games? What is your interest in that? 0 to 100. What is your interest in that? I'm very, very curious because I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I don't know. I'm so torn and indecisive. So I really want your feedback as to what your interest level in that is. I would not be like, I wouldn't be doing like Disc Golf Valley. Like it would be other video games that I would be playing. Um, so yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be like disc golf focused at all, although I'd probably be talking about disc golf often. Um, but yeah, very, very curious. Okay. Luke, almost at 3 hours, maybe past now. Oh gosh. All right. Yeah. So total time, we're probably almost at 3 hours because we had downtime for 10 minutes and then maybe 5 minutes. All right, Todd, that's so weird. Uh, yep, it's weird. It's weird. Chase, okay, what video games? Great question. So I'm leaning toward stuff like RPGs where it's not super heavily story focused. And I'm leaning away from competitive gaming because I would be a little concerned with Wi-Fi handling, streaming, and like Siege, like trying to do an FPS. So I'm leaning toward kind of like more open world or um, like RPGs basically is kind of what I'm thinking. But I would also be very open to like viewer suggestions of what games to play. So one of the games that it was that I've been thinking about is Avowed that's coming out. It doesn't sound like it's the most incredible game, but the gameplay is supposed to be a lot of fun. And there's an archery build that you can have. And that's kind of like a game that I think it would be easy to play and talk at the same time without being super like focused. Whereas Siege, I wouldn't be able to, I'd be a little too focused, or something like Sekiro would be like really intense. All right, Todd, I was going to ask if you played Subnautica or Dark Souls, but I didn't because you mentioned keeping it disc golf related. Yeah, which by the way, uh, we don't have to keep it disc golf related, and I'm totally fine with most elements of conversation. But obviously, as you guys noticed tonight, we had some people jumping on the stream who weren't just talking about things other than disc golf, but were trying to disrupt and mess with us. So at that time, it's good to shift back to disc golf because they're not going to stick around and keep messing with us. Oh boy, I am liking this. Okay, Minecraft server, great suggestion. Ark, also great suggestion. So a couple of games that popped in my mind, like Subnautica, are the like open world survival crafting games where there might be a little bit of repetitive to it, but sometimes that's like you don't have to pay attention to that. Like you don't have to like pay attention or miss on what's going on. So Ark Survival would be a great one because I played it a lot. Um, and then Minecraft would be good. Uh, Although you guys do not want to watch me build a house in Minecraft, it's painful and it's horrible. It's horrifying. Doesn't look like a house. Doesn't look like anything. It's terrible. It's just a shelter. I have played some Subnautica. I haven't played Dark Souls, Todd, but I have played Lords of the Fallen and a couple of Souls likes, and I've enjoyed them for sure. Um, Definitely not quite my like favorite style of game to play necessarily, but like Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, that's kind of like that perfect style, where it's not so split second and learning a boss necessarily as understanding your enemies and countering and dodging. Um, anyway, all right, here we go. Oh, okay. So Todd says Dark Souls 3, Halo Reach, Red Dead Redemption 2, Sniper Elite 4, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Super Mario, World Blasphemous. I have not heard of World Blasphemous. Resident Evil 7, Ghost Recon Wildlands, Subnautica, Minecraft, Doom 2016. All right, so I've heard of all of those, but World Blasphemous. Or is that Super Mario? Wait, is that Super Mario World? I don't know. But I have played Link to the Past. I'm like 70% through. I didn't beat it because I didn't have I stopped paying for the Nintendo Online. But I played Ocarina of Time, absolutely love it. Breath of the Wild, absolutely love it. I played all the way through Ghost Recon Wildlands. I played through Minecraft to the Ender Dragon, but there have been a lot of updates since then. I have not played any of the Doom games. I have played some Mario. I have Sniper Elite 5 that I've been playing on and off with Devin because it's co-op and it's a pretty good game, pretty fun. Uh, Only a little bit of Halo experience. I kind of missed the Halo train when I switched over to Xbox. It's kind of like still Call of Duty from PlayStation to Xbox. I played a little bit of Red Dead 2. but I like it. It's a great game. Okay, so Todd would rather watch me play a game for the first time. Okay, yeah, I'm interested. That's one of the things I was thinking about with Avowed is it would be like a first time experience. Something like Ark Survival would be I basically know almost every creature in the game. I'm familiar with how to farm, how to build, how to tame everything, how to streamline my way to the boss. So it'd be like opposite ends of the gaming experience. Uh, Chase, when I play Minecraft, I make a TNT house and then blow it up for no reason. That's fun. Uh, I've done that before. It's fun. Destiny 2, or is that still too much FPS? So I'm not sure. The thing I'm thinking about most when I said FPS is competitive FPS. So I don't mind doing a shooter, but a shooter that requires online connection with other players would be the problem. Because if I'm lagging all over the place, then that's just going to be terrible. Um, and I'm not even sure, like tonight, I disconnected twice. I'm not sure because that hasn't been happening, if that's just a today thing or if that's kind of like I better be prepared for, some mild internet issues. So if I'm streaming and gaming, I better only play like single player games. So I'm a little bit on the fence because I haven't tried. I haven't tried it out and I don't know what it would be like. So yeah, definitely unsure of exactly what to go for. But something like Destiny 2, the style of game would be totally fine. But if the like cooperative dungeon run experience wouldn't be great with latency, then that would change things. I wouldn't necessarily want to do that. Yeah, Avowed looked interesting. I'd watch 100%. Yeah, yeah. Avowed very much interested me, and from what I've heard, um, people aren't like blown away by the story. They think the story is kind of lackluster, but that doesn't really bother me too much. I mean, to be honest, I just finished Skyrim, 100 like beat Skyrim, like found 420 plus locations out of 427 or whatever, did essentially every quest in the entire game, did the whole main storyline, did the Dragonborn DLC, did the Dawnguard DLC, Thieves Guild, like et cetera, et cetera. Did everything in Skyrim. Got to level 111, like almost all of my skills up above 90. Uh, I played the heck out of Skyrim. It didn't really have that great of a story. Like, to be honest, the story was grand, but it wasn't like incredible. I liked Skyrim for exploring and enjoying a random fight that pops up or a random character who betrays you or having to get a weapon and you get trapped and have to fight your way out and going into this separate realm and experiencing what new things are there. And I think that that's the enjoyable shared experience that I'm thinking about, not necessarily locked into, but interested in, where it's like just exploring and seeing what's out there in a game and sharing it together, having a good time. Um, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Chase, I would still watch the live stream. If you launch it, I'll be there for sure. All right, so I got 2 viewers for Avowed. That's a good start. Yeah. Oh, I see. I missed one. So you copied and pasted your note of legendary games, so format was messed up. Yeah. There's a That's a good list. I mean, you put out some really good ones. Absolutely. Some uh acclaimed games for sure. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of options out there. Um definitely definitely Avowed is one of the like approachable games where I felt like it'd be very watchable and it'd be my experience for the first time. And there aren't that many games where I was thinking it would be a really good style of game and I've never played it. And it's hard to know also if you haven't played a game if it will be enjoyable at all to play or to watch. It's just kind of like it's just you never know. Some games are they look great and they just suck. So it's just impossible to say before you actually get your hands on it. Um, a Quiet Place, is that a game? They have a Quiet Place game? I'm sure they do. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing some type of uh like straightforward horror uh game, especially if it's like basically a limited story where it's going to be like an 8 to 10 hour game. That would be kind of cool because that I could do like 2 hour sessions or something and wrap it up in a month. Like that would be fine. That's the maybe downside to um, something like Avowed. The downside would be like I could play it for a year and maybe never beat it. Um, I don't see that as necessarily a problem, but if we were going to enjoy like suggesting games and then I play a game for a month, the survival genre, the survival horror genre might be that kind of streamlined way to do it, to jump through a game and then another game and be able to switch genres a couple of times. Resident Evil 7, I've never played. So that might be a really good one because I have a little bit of knowledge of the game, but I don't have specific spoilers and I haven't played it. So I don't have experience with it. Actually, I don't think I've played any Resident Evil game at all. Yeah. I do watch like game ranks and some like gaming channels that will reference multiple video games in whatever list video they put out. So I've heard a lot about Resident Evil games, so I'm familiar with them broadly, but I couldn't tell you which is which. Yeah. Oh, the quiet place where if you yeah, you have a mic. I did hear about that. Where yeah, you have a mic so that the monsters can hear you if you scream and you have to be quiet while playing. So the upside would be the reactions would be great for that. But the downside would be I couldn't chat because the mic would hear me. So that would be interesting though. Well, Todd, I'll definitely be thinking about it, and I'll put Resident Evil 7 on the list for sure for possibilities. Great suggestion. And yeah, yeah, we will see. I did, if you want to check it out, I did start a YouTube channel called Birdietime Gaming, and I just posted like 5 shorts from Skyrim, basically just Bethesda bugs, funny little moments from it, because I wanted to have something. Like I wanted to have it started and named. So it's basically nothing. But yeah, if you guys want to jump over and take a glance at it, it's there. It exists. But yeah, so that is what I've been thinking about and what I wanted to check in with you guys about. And let me just. There we go. Kind of like. Oh, that's a good question. Chase, let me see if I can find it. This should work. Because I am. That didn't work. It's all right. We'll find it. I'm trying to just get the link to the Birdietime Gaming and send it over. Oh, that's why. Okay. I've got it copied. All right. That should be the at Birdietime Gaming -14. So hopefully that helps you guys find it if you're looking for it, because if you look for Birdietime, there's a lot of stuff out there. But yeah, there's basically nothing there. I wanted it to just exist. But I'll be checking in next week on the next live stream as well, and I'll bring it up. there were so many issues today. Like I don't even know how many people are watching at the moment because it said 13 watching for the last hour. So there might be only the four of us chilling together, or seven or 10. Like I have no idea. So yeah, I'll bring it up again next week, and by then, hopefully, I'll have a couple of little things on the channel put together. But yeah, I'm interested in it. It's definitely not something I can guarantee, and I'll have to figure out a way. I think I need to get a capture card. Oh, it says six. Okay, nice. So basically, the four of us, and then like a couple extra people who were chilling and just hanging out. Um, so I need to get a capture card so that I can stream from the Xbox, and then it sends the signal to the computer, so the computer doesn't have to host the game basically. And then I'll just have to set up getting the video of me while I'm playing at the same time as the game. I don't know how to do that yet. I know that it can be done because people do it all the time. So I'll get some of that kind of like researched and figured out. But yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while, so I'm pretty interested in giving it a shot and seeing what happens. But yeah, thank you guys so much for the feedback. I really appreciate it. And it looks like Ramsey did not jump onto the stream, and he said 9:30. So his loss, I put it to 9:57. All right, I'll go till 10. I'll do 10. We'll go until 10 o'clock. And then I'm pretty much going to bed. But yeah. Uh, let's see. Oh, I just started playing, or I just finished playing the Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. I played Rise of the Tomb Raider a couple years ago, and it was actually like pretty good, like a really good game. And as I should mention, I like archery quite a bit. Some of you know that. But just like I enjoy watching the flight of a disc, I like the flight of an arrow versus like guns. I am appreciative of a bow and arrow and enjoy using a bow in video games when I do have the option, and prefer it to like swords and stuff like that for the most part. But I do have that kind of interest. So I just played Skyrim, and I did a lot of it as a stealth archer, and I enjoy the Tomb Raider games, and I was thinking about being an archer in Avowed. But anyway, yeah, so definitely might influence my game choice a little bit if one game has an archery potential and one game doesn't, maybe. But it's not like a requirement or anything like that. But anyway, I enjoyed the Tomb Raider experience. It was pretty good, pretty cinematic, pretty streamlined. And I did it with like 95% archery, and I only killed with a gun when I kind of like got in a situation where I had to, or I switched on accident and then I took somebody out. But I did almost all my fighting with the bow. Jace, random, did you play any sports in high school? So high school, I played soccer, and my senior, I had a small high school, just 30 to 35 people per class size, so only 120 in our high school. And my senior year, I was the leading goal scorer for our soccer team, with like 16 goals in our season, with like 18 games or something like that. So I had a couple of good games. I had a hat trick in one of our like important home games, and for a couple of days, people called me Hat Trick Hendrick for a little while. That was kind of fun. Then I did track and cross country. I again, like our school was tiny, so when I jumped on our cross country team, we went from 6 guys to 7, or no, we went from 5 guys to 6, which for most cross country meets, your top 5 guys submit to your times together and then average them out. So when I jumped in as guy number 6, I immediately took our team average time and like dropped it. So we ended up going to states. I helped us qualify for states, and I had a couple of good races. My fastest time was 18:11 for a 5K, 3.1 miles, which is fine. And then track, I did high jump, long jump, 4x4, 400, 800, and mile, depending on the meet. And I enjoyed it. But yeah, soccer was my big one. I was bad at basketball, but I really liked soccer. Played a ton of soccer. Yeah. All right, we crossed 10. Luke says you should try Wizards of Legend 2. Wizards of Legend 2. I'll just go ahead and look that up and leave that here. And before I go, I am going to grant you guys mod because we had a lot of spam today, way more than normal. So, oh, that is mod. So Chase, Luke, and Todd, I'll just make you guys, add you guys as standard moderators. That way, when we get those spammy, crappy comments, then you can help me delete them. Because sometimes I get talking and I leave a few chat messages to talk through, and I don't see that one of them is vulgar, and it just sits there for like 10 minutes. So, yeah. Hopefully, you guys can kind of help a little bit with that when those pop up and you're in the chat. And I'll start adding more to the mod list. As long as me and one mod are in the chat, we should be able to handle most of the crappy, spammy comments. But yeah, had a great time tonight, guys. Really was awesome. I'm tired. Thanks for watching, Chase. Very cool. Thanks for explaining. Glad I could join the live. Did a nice job. Thank you. Glad that you were able to join as well. And it's always nice to kind of be able to keep going for a little while. But yeah, I'm worn out now, but really glad to hang out with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate all the support, and watch out for my giveaway video coming soon because we will be crossing that 3,000 watch hours tomorrow. Like, it's going to happen soon. And yeah, I'm super excited. So awesome. Love you guys. Catch you later. Peace out. Hi, Mina. We're leaving. Sorry. We're exhausted. Good to see you.